Hey folks, before we dive down into my six-figure stock portfolio and I share with you guys the purchases that I made this week, I thought it would be fun to update you on how Berkshire Hathaway, the good old Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett's portfolio, is performing, because in Q3 they did some net buying, which was pretty interesting. Brand new positions to the portfolio include AbbVie, Merck, Pfizer. I mean, we still got Bristol Myers in there. They really went heavy into the healthcare sector, which I think was pretty appropriate, because I just think that the entire healthcare sector of a market is in deep value territory. When you have things like Clorox, Procter & Gamble trading to the moon, but in a health crisis, the most important sector of the market is just trending flat. Now, the weirdest position they added to, in my opinion, would have had to been General Motors. I can argue the fact that, yeah, at the prices it was trading at, severe discounted territory, but over the long term, they don't have a foothold in the EV market yet. That desperation to get nickel on board that is still flopping miserably. I don't know. Just don't see it having future growth potential until they can get through the speculation of actually proving a profitable EV product. Now, when it comes to stocks that they sold, and if you understand Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio, they did leverage down Apple, but it kind of made sense because Apple makes up 47% or 48% right now of the entire Berkshire Hathaway weighting, which just shows the concentration of Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio. So even though they sold a little bit of Apple, it doesn't even put a dent. One of the weirdest sells that they made had to have been Costco, which kind of comes as a red flag to a lot of the dividend investors that have been loving the growth, because at an over 40 PE, the fact that it's priced in this entire pandemic makes the future growth probably look a little diminished, which makes sense for Berkshire to kind of scale down that part of the portfolio. But all in all, guys, I'm not going to give you too much opinions on this. I'd love to know what you think about Buffett's portfolio in that description below. But putting that aside, we got some exciting news as my portfolio continues to hit all-time highs, and I look so forward to getting into this. So consider hitting that like button, and let's jump right into this.
And I am very interested in your policies on diversification and also how you concentrate your investments.
So there's nothing magic. We like to put a lot of money in things that we feel strongly about. And that gets back to the diversification question. We think diversification is, as practiced generally, makes very little sense for anyone that knows what they're doing. Diversification is a protection against ignorance. I mean, if you want to make sure that nothing bad happens to you relative to the market, you own everything. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that is a perfectly sound approach for somebody who does not feel they know how to analyze businesses. If you know how to analyze businesses and value businesses, it's crazy to own 50 stocks or 40 stocks or 30 stocks probably, because there aren't that many wonderful businesses that are understandable to a single human being in all likelihood. And to have some super wonderful business and then put money in number 30 or 35 on your list of attractiveness and forego putting more money into number 1 just strikes Charlie and me as madness. And it's conventional practice, and it may, if all you have to achieve is average, it may preserve your job, but it's a confession in our view that you don't really understand the businesses that you own.
Welcome back, passive income investors. Now to kick this off, the portfolio holding all-time highs like it's nothing right now, baby. We're sitting just below 214,000 at a high of 215 for the week, and this hasn't updated yet, so something tells me today we're over that, which we're going to see when we get into the individual accounts and the stocks that I actually bought, which, by the way, if you want to track your portfolio the same way I do here, you want to help the channel out, support us a little bit, 30% off just this weekend alone over at thechartmaster.com. But now that I'm done promoting myself, just taking a look here, guys, I got most of my, I think all of my dividends for this month of November, in which I received $439, which is growing to almost the amount of a total year collection of $5,975. So when December's income comes in, baby, we are over $500 a month, because right now I'm receiving about $7,948 annually, but because I've been buying those over the year, those dividends haven't caught up, because a lot of them are quarterly payments, right? But it's nice to see this little growth chart going on over here, and I'm hoping that's something that I'm going to keep sustaining, as I have a goal right now. I want to cross 8,000 in annual dividends before the end of the year, and I'm really only going to have to come up with another $1,000 at 5% to get over that 8K mark. So crossing my fingers, I shouldn't have a problem achieving that. But let's get into some of the individual brokerage accounts here, starting off as usual with my TFSA, where I added to one position, guys, and many of you know this. I've been joking about it all week, but yeah, instead of buying a dividend stock with my dividends, I bought some more MindMed, which I'm not complaining about in the macro because it is up, which we can scroll down to here, just taking a look. I only really bought another 350 odd shares, but it is trading up pretty massively today, guys. On the US dollar, it's currently sitting at $1.16 a share. On the Canadian half of the border, I think we're sitting at like $1.56 or something like that. We'll see some of the price adjustments because I do hold this in Canadian dollars as well. But just taking a look at everything else, guys, we've had a really beautiful rally this week in the Canadian banks, which it's so great to see. I'm almost back in the green on my Canadian Imperial Bank. My Northland Power, I just did a breakdown for with the two best monthly paying dividend stocks. I really wasn't that pleased with their last earnings, but if you want to check that out, you know, the video was a few days ago. But nonetheless, we got RioCan coming back, holding above 17 beautifully, guys. I mean, is anybody complaining right now? If you've been a net buyer of stocks over the last 6 months, something tells me your portfolio is probably looking just as good here, guys. But let's take a look at the managed account because this is where things have changed drastically. A lot of you know I leveraged some line of credit. I got it into RioCan, and right now that was one of the better decisions I made this year, considering, you know, my RioCan position, which half of it, well, not anymore, but half of it was technically debt, and right now we're trading up 13%, not including that dividend income we have received, which, by the way, I'm not in a rush to pay the line of credit off. I'm still just using the dividends to pay it down. God, it's a beautiful thing, baby. Locking in that $15 share price. No complaints. Not that I recommend everybody do that. It just seems to be working pretty good for me. Got a discount. Let's hope it continues. Now, taking a look at my largest MindMed position in here, guys, which we can see the Canadian dollar price at this point is $1.52. I kind of over-exaggerated that, but nonetheless, I'm up 138% in this account, looking at a $7,200 gain. I haven't added this all together today, but like I said, I think I'm back to that 215K mark just because MindMed is trading up almost 10% today alone. Facebook, you know, tech's kind of lacklustering over the week. And the RR to the S to the P, not much to say here, guys, other than Tesla, you know, S&P 500 listing coming up. They're holding up $500 a share. Not much going on there. This account's gonna be my most boring account because it'll be the one that I play around with the absolute least. But nonetheless, my RBC account, guys, this has been a glorious year for this account, considering I was just trying to get it up to about 10,000 for the year. So I've blown my goals out of the water here, sitting at 19,638 today, guys, all because of my net purchases over the last 6 months. When we're talking about the banks, again, my BNS, my TD, both up 10%. You got MindMed in here again, guys, trading up 163. You look at the only two best decisions I've ever made as of late was MindMed and Tesla. And I hope it keeps going this way because, my goodness, guys, I don't think I've ever captured two companies that have given me so much growth in my entire investing career. And again, look, we got RioCan doing great and Facebook still holding up overall. Now, when it comes down to it, I've kind of had this bipolar decision going on in my head. I told you guys I will be scaling some of these positions down progressively over time. MindMed especially. I might scale a little bit of Microsoft still. I added up last night about how much I wanted to pull out of my positions that I felt were a little over leveraged. I wouldn't mind maybe diversifying even into some healthcare stocks like Pfizer, maybe continue to diversify into that sector of my portfolio. And I worked it out. Today, if I decided to, I could pull out about 25,000, just scaling a few of the positions down, which would allow me to buy 2 or 3 more stocks. And this will be something I look more aggressively to next year, but I have such a hard time changing things up when it's just doing so well for me right now. And it's like Buffett, right? I mean, he's got 50%. Could you imagine having 50% of your portfolio in one stock like Buffett does? Now, I don't have, you know, I don't have the risk tolerance or the guts for that, or I'd still be holding on to my Tesla shares. Probably would have been better off. But nonetheless, guys, I'm just going to be approaching everything real cautiously. We all know that, like Buffett says, your portfolio is like a bar of soap. The more you play with it, the less you're going to have. So I'm just going to keep adding capital. I'm going to keep paying attention. And just when things feel right, you'll see me do it. I'll start scaling back. But super awesome week. I hope it was for you as well. And again, just let me know what you guys think in that comment section below. Consider hitting the like button. Helps the channel out. Stay cool. Stay awesome. And I'd like to say I'll catch you tomorrow, but we'll be live tonight over at the Passive Income Educator, where we do our live streams every single Friday night. Grab a drink, relax. There's not much to do in this pandemic, but nonetheless, guys, I'll catch you later.